Good morning guys. It's been a while since I filmed a video, but today's video I have an exciting recipe to show you, and it's French macaron. So I've been testing out a lot of techniques. Recipe itself, it's fairly similar. It's more on the technique that I want to show you. It's how I make my French macarons. I've been obsessing on how to make it and make it perfectly. I'm still not on that level, but I can confidently say that I can make it without failing. So from all the testing that I've done, let me show you all the ingredients and we'll talk about the techniques and actually the equipment that I use, and some of them I will tell you if you need it or not, basically from my home kitchen, what works for me. And again, I'm going to show you how to do it French technique. Italian macaron and Swiss macaron, so there's different techniques on how to use it. I've tried the Swiss, it's okay, and they said it is actually foolproof, but I really like the French technique because it's simpler. Okay guys, so let me show you the ingredients for making French macarons. Again, I'm making French macarons. So I have 70 grams of finely milled almond flour. I actually dry this in the oven before I use it. That technique is one of my secrets to keep my macarons from failing. And then I have egg whites here. There's 50 grams of egg whites, room temperature. If you don't have a room temperature egg whites, if you're like me that keep the eggs in the fridge, make sure you leave it out for 30 minutes on room temperature. You'll be fine. Or you can put it in the microwave 5 seconds interval, only twice. And then granulated sugar, 50 grams. And then I have 60 grams of powdered sugar here. And then for coloring, they don't use water-based coloring or oil-based coloring. If you're gonna use coloring, make sure you use gel coloring. And this is from Chef Master. They have Pietraco gel coloring. There's different brands, but this is what I have. I use this for my cake decorating. And then instead of actually using coloring and in replace for vanilla, I would use this emulco flavoring. I have quite a bit of this. This is thick enough to work for macarons. I only use a little bit of it, but this is pistachio flavor. I have mango, strawberries, but this is very thick, so I can get away with using this. But if you're just starting, just start with the actual gel coloring. But we're gonna make pistachio shell French macarons, guys. And then for the equipment, I have my hand mixer. You can use your stand mixer, but because I upgraded my stand mixer to a 10 liter, the 10 liter mixer is too big, and I kept my small KitchenAid tucked away, so it's hard to take it. So I'm using my hand mixer. It works perfectly. And if you don't have a stand mixer, use a hand mixer. It just works perfectly. And then I have my food processor. I would say you can skip the food processor one, but this one is crucial, I would say. If you already had a finely milled almond flour, you can skip the food processor, but don't skip the sifting, because that will give you a really nice shell when you sift with very fine powder ingredients. Almond flour, powdered sugar. So I will pulse this a couple of times. Don't overwork your almond flour because it will produce oil, and that's not good for your meringue. So we'll do this a couple of times. But I don't find it milling the almond flour, so that's why I said just skip this and do your sifting. If you're wondering what the brand for my food processor is, this is Socani. I find it really nice and it working pretty good. I bought this at the S shop. Yeah, so this is how, I'll show you guys. This is how my powder looks like. Powdered sugar and almond flour. I'm gonna sift it now. I'll just do half for now so it's easier. One thing that I actually do is when I measure my almond flour, I will give it extra 1 to 2 grams, because even if it goes through that food processor, you still get big chunks. So that's why I said it's not really necessary for me, but other bakers would say don't skip that. But what I would suggest is don't skip sifting. I would say that multiple times, 100 times. Don't skip sifting. And actually drying your almond flour is a big I couldn't, like, I have done so many testing with the almond and a lot of failing, and I couldn't figure out why I'm failing. And finally I was like, maybe the almond flour is too wet. You can't really feel if the almond flour is wet or a lot of moisture. So when I started roasting my almond flour, very low heat, like I would do 60, the lowest setting in your oven, put it in the oven for 5 minutes. Don't overcook it or else it will produce oil too. That's when I don't get failures anymore. But you know, if you have a failed macaron shell, it's still tasty. My family loves it, so it still tastes the same. You just don't get the feet. You have a crack macaron, but it still tastes fairly good. So you see, I still have a lot of big chunks. Yeah, so I have 5 grams here, and I'm fine with that. I'm actually going to put this aside. I'm just going to mix it a little bit. This is how it looks like. It looks really fine now. So I have my cream of tartar. We're going to use a 1/4 teaspoon of cream of tartar. So I'll just put the egg here. Make sure your bowl is clean. I clean it with vinegar, as well as your wrist is clean, because if it has moisture or oil, use it for icing, your meringue can fail. So let's start it. So once I see that it's bubbly like that, I would put my cream of tartar. Some people just dump everything before they start mixing, but mix it again. So guys, if you guys are wondering my setting for my mixer, my hand mixer, I only start with 1. And then once I started incorporating the sugar, I would go in medium, and I'll stay there until I get the medium steep. So as you can see, it is already, I'm satisfied with that. The point is really pointy, and then this is really nice and glossy, and if you tilt it down, it's never gonna go away. I find it using a hand mixer, you get a different texture than using a stand mixer, but you'll still get a good result. So I'm happy about this. Most of the time, let me just unplug this. People that mix French macarons, they add the gel coloring on their meringue. I find it easier for me to add it in the actual tartar once you start mixing, because I usually make more than this. I have my recipe to show you guys, because I would like to do different flavors or different colors. So what I do is, once I mix the meringue and my almond flour mixture, that's when I add my flavor or my coloring. And it works for me. So if you want to add your coloring right now on your meringue before you finish mixing it, then feel free to do so. But my technique is different because that's how it works, because I want different flavors of my macaron shells. I'm actually gonna dump all my meringue with my mixture, with my almond flour, and we're gonna start mixing. Again, other people will do 1/3 of the mixture, of the meringue mixture, and then mix it. But I find my technique works for me, so you're gonna have to find what works for you. And this is how it looks like. And I'm just gonna start mixing it. So once this is almost incorporated, that's when we're gonna put the flavoring or the coloring. And if you guys want me to show you how I separate my batter to different color, then I will gladly film that. So it's fully incorporated. There's still chunks. Then I'm gonna add my pistachio flavoring. See how thick that is? And then we're gonna start the macaronage process. So I scrape the ball around and then go in the center of the mixture. And then a lot of batter is in the spatula, so I scrape it down the bowl to make sure that that gets incorporated as well, because this is such a small amount of mixture. Usually this mixture gets you 30 shells. So that means you're gonna get 15 macaron per macaron, right? See how the color looks like? Hopefully you guys can see. So you would know when it's, if it's like ribbon-like or you do figure eight. The tip that I can give you here is I rather have undermix it than overmix it, because once you overmix it, there's no coming back. When you undermix it, it's still gonna work. It's just not as smooth as the other, like you want. It will be grainy. But so this is the part that do I stop or do I keep on going mixing? So still a little thick, but it's giving me a good ribbon. That's how the mixture looks like. Let's do the ribbon test. It's flowing really nicely. And they said if you wait for 10 to 15 seconds and this ribbon like settled, you're perfectly fine. But I can see my texture is really good. It's shiny, so I'm happy about it. Again, it's better to not to undermix than overmix it. So just stop. Right? So now we're going to transfer this to my piping bag. And I have my tray ready here. I have a silicone seal pack with patterns on it. I bought this online, so if you guys, it's very actually affordable. I got it at Shein. For some reason I saw it pops and I started making. Initially when I started making this, I'm only using parchment paper, but I find it really nice and cook really evenly with a silk pack. So I count in my head 1, 2, 3, 4 and then stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Show you guys. If you guys don't have this, you can actually download a guide on the internet. There's a lot. Or if you have a small cookie cutter, a round cookie cutter, you can draw on your parchment. Make sure you use it on the other side, because if not, the writing, the pencil, would stick to your macaron. So make sure you use the other side if you're drawing the template. And then, so we're pretty good right now. What we're gonna wait until it dries up. It develops a skin in the top. But one thing that I actually do is I turn on my air conditioner to a dry mode to help with the macarons. I don't skip that. So guys, while our macaron shells is drying, it's right here in my counter, we're gonna make the chocolate ganache. Whipping cream, I'm using the Everwhip because this is what I have. I'm just using 75 grams. So guys, for the ganache, I have 75 grams of heavy whipping cream. So I'm using the Everwhip because this is what I have. I have it on, we're gonna do a double boiler method. Fairly easy. So we'll put it, I have my stove top on, there's water in it. We'll just make that boil, and then I need actually 85 grams of dark chocolate. I have 88, so that's pretty good. So I like doing my dishes in stages. If I'm done with one task, I'll do the dishes right away. I don't wait until the end because it's overwhelming. Plus my sink is very small and I want it a little organized. So my heavy whipping cream is ready. So I'm just going to put the chocolate in here. I'm going to turn off the stove now. I'm just mixing this. At this point, you can actually take it out of the water bath. Then my butter, which I forgot to take out of the fridge. This is what I use. This is the Magnolia Pure Butter. All melted, just the butter, because it's very cold. It was just came out of the fridge. And then I'm gonna transfer it to a glass bowl. The glass bowl here to cool down. Put it in the fridge actually. Don't add sugar because chocolate's already sweet. And the shell is actually, I had a comment from some customers that they really got put off on eating the macarons because some macarons is too sweet, but I find this shell not too sweet, and then I try not to add too much sweetness on the filling. So let's see if our macaron shells is ready for baking. I haven't started my oven, but we'll talk about the oven as well. There's nothing, so you touch, so it develops a film already, so it's pretty dry now. So I'm gonna turn on my oven. My oven is a gas oven. That's one more thing. It's not impossible, it's hard, but with me playing around with the oven temperature, the placement of the tray, I finally got it. I set it to 150 degrees, but you know, gas, it fluctuates, so I use a thermometer. If I see that it's getting way too hot, then I would kind of open the door so that it would release some heat. But I try not to do that when it's still rising or it's still developing those little feet for the macarons. On my oven, it is gas. Let's turn on the light. And then I would usually open this because it needs air so it doesn't suffocate the fire. So it's on right now, and I would put it into the minimum setting. That way I can actually, there's the oven thermometer here where the tray, I'm gonna put it on, the middle part is supposed to be here, but it is too hot, so I would put it right here on 3/4 of it. Yeah, so we'll wait until that is ready, 150 degrees Celsius, and we're gonna put our macaron shells. Macaron shells are done. This is the first half. It's cooled down already, so I'm just gonna take it out of the shell pack. I want to show you how it looks like. The inside. This is freshly baked, so it's still sticky, but it's full. It's not hollow inside. So guys, this is how my ganache looks like. This is how I want it to be. I'm gonna put it in the piping bag. The shells are cooled down, so we're gonna put it in the piping bag and pipe it in our shells. I'm using a 6B piping so that there's a design. You guys how I sandwich it. Okay guys, so this is the finished product. I chilled it in the fridge for half an hour, but I would suggest before, you can try it right now, but chill it because the filling will ooze out. But they usually suggest 24 hours so that the filling actually season the actual macaron shell. So now I'm gonna put it in the packaging, and I'm gonna ask you guys what your opinion of which packaging do you prefer. So we'll start with the new one, this one. I have 6 cavities in here, so I'm just gonna put 1, 2, 3. I'm trying to pick same sizes because no matter how I do it, I still don't get the sizes uniformly, perfectly. 4, 5, 6. So that's how it looks like right now with the filling. This is this one, and then we'll do this one, the transparent one. We'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. They're all the same color. I usually do 2 different colors, but this is, and then I think I have 2. Oh, perfect. Enough 5 for this old packaging. I didn't use the 10 ones because I only did around, well, I guess 6, 12 plus 5. So 12 plus 5 is 17. So we got 5. The big one is in the middle. This is how it looks like. Okay guys, I'll show you guys my 3 packaging right now. So this one has 6, and this is the newest packaging, and there's 6 in there, and this is how it looks like. Macaron. And then my old packaging has 5. And then this clear one has 6. So which one do you guys prefer? Let me know. Comment down below and let me know. So guys, this video is, I think it's going to be a long video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on my next one. Bye!